All right, everybody, how you doing? Hope everyone's having a beautiful week. This is just James checking in. We are in Lake Forest, California at Bishop HQ for another episode of Fridays with Franco. Boss man, how are you doing today?
I'm drinking a cup of coffee, feeling good. It's always good to have the end of the week when you work so damn hard, doing so many things, because building a brand is not easy. They say, today we're going to talk about building a brand, but in a later conversation we'll talk about keeping a brand, because it's a lot harder to keep the brand that you do end up building. Just like musicians, there's a lot of musicians we don't remember anymore because they stopped building their brand, they stopped dropping hits. So I first want to say, if you liken your career to music, that's a good thing, because it's pretty much that. You have to continue to drop hits. Otherwise, they'll forget about you. And the reason why? There's too much talent out there. Way too much talent. There's people that are way better than me. People that are better than Troshin. Well, I don't know about that. Maybe not. But there's so many good artists. There's a lot of talent out there in the world. So we're going to talk about some things that are particularly important to today's time. Because, again, in marketing, one of my favorite books talks about the importance of marketing relative to today. So sometimes you can't use principles that they teach in college that are already 10 or 15 years old. We're in a new day, a new age. So we're going to talk today about building your brand. And these key principles apply to whether you're building your personal brand, like your name, like a Mr. Cartoon or a Mr. Troshin or a Carlos Torres. They apply to that. They apply to building your studio. We've put a lot of effort into building our studio, Vatican Studios, Carlos Torres' studio. Just different names. What are some popular studios out there, James? When you think of tattoo studios, like right off the top, what comes to mind?
Off the top, I'm thinking Deer's Eye. I'm thinking Raven and Wolves. I'm thinking Ink Slingers. I'm thinking Vatican Studios. We've got Inked Magazine's studio out there in New York.
And so when you think about that, like the reason why James is able to recall those things is because those studios did something. The owners of those studios did something profound. They did something distinctively different to make James, off the top of his head, just start rattling off. Out of hundreds of thousands of studios, he rattled off a few of them because they obviously did something right. And the recipe that we're going to talk about today is something that I've tried for myself. It's worked. So this conversation today is a mixture of tons of books. If you guys know me, I read a lot of books. I've read a lot of good marketing books, and we'll suggest certain books a little bit later on which ones to read. What are some of your favorites, James?
My favorite books? Let's see. There's the Four Agreements.
Or on marketing.
Oh, for marketing.
Branding.
That one by Gary V. I think it was Jab Jab Punch or Jab Jab Knockout.
Yeah. And then a good one is Shoe Dog, by Phil Knight.
Mm-hmm.
That's a playbook, really. But there's a lot of cool things. But let's get into some of these key principles. We're going to go over 3 key principles in building your brand. And again, your personal brand, like your name, your studio, or your products. A lot of people are getting into products, whether it be t-shirts and hats or even tattoo supplies. So these principles apply to all 3 of those. When I think of, artists that have branded themselves pretty well, I think of like Jose Lopez. I think of Carlos Torres. Gosh, I think of Cartoon, obviously, right? And then other artists too that might not tattoo, like O.G. Abel, one of my personal favorites. These are guys that have distinctively created their own brand. So principle number 1 we're going to talk about is being distinctive. What does it mean to be distinctive? Well, let me tell you. What it means to be distinctive is you have to set yourself apart from everyone else out there, right? And let's talk about being distinctive today as compared to 20 years ago. Even 27 years. I started tattooing 27 years ago. I was a lot more well-known for my black and gray realism in portraits back then because there wasn't a lot of good artists out there. There was a handful of, artists. So we were very distinctive back then. It was like, if you won a couple of awards for black and gray portraits, you would get well-known because you were distinctive because there wasn't a lot of people in the world that were, that good. Fast forward to today, as compared to 27 years ago when I started, you're talking for every really good portrait artist, for every really good color artist, that was around 20 plus years ago, there's probably 5,000, maybe 10,000 now. So being distinctive, key principle number one, is very hard nowadays. Some of the things, to set yourself apart from the competition is with your style. And when we talk about guys like Jose Lopez, Cartoon, Carlos Torres, these are guys that when you walk up to a back piece and you see their work, you don't have to guess who it is. Right away, you're like, that's a Carlos Torres back piece. That's a Mr. Cartoon back piece. And think about it, there's other people that kind of do that sort of style, but they're so distinct. Their style is so distinct. They've invented something. And it's been said that, even these guys will tell you they've taken a little bit. That's what art is. You take a little bit from everything, including culture, including your surroundings, and you cultivate it into something. So I'm going to say this. If you want to be a tattoo artist that just copies what other people do, you won't really become successful. You might pay the bills and you might have a great career and stuff, but if you want to really set yourself apart and be distinctive, try to create your own style. I've seen a lot of these people go from style to style until it became their own, right? Whether that be a signature way you do your line work, a signature way you do your shading. And I'll give you an example, Jose Lopez. A lot of people don't talk much about what Jose Lopez has contributed to the actual look and the distinct look of black and gray. He's taught a lot of guys that came underneath him, but his style, you look at Jun Cha, it's like Jose's style of capturing black and gray. He does this illustrator style where it's still very realistic. It's still very soft black and gray, but it's almost like he takes 5 different shades and he sort of compartmentalizes each shade and he makes it play into the next one in just some really cool flow. So when you see a Jose Lopez tattoo, it's like, yeah, that's a Jose piece. Or when you see a Jun Cha piece, it's like, okay, I see his style. I see what he's not doing it like everybody else. He's chosen to be distinctive and do his shading and do his line work a little different. And what happens is you set yourself apart from everyone else, because now when you look at a Jose Lopez or a Jun Cha back piece, you instantly know right away who does it. Why? Because other people are not doing it like that. Got it. So, being distinctive, go the extra mile with your art, your settings, your behavior. If we parlay this key principle number one, being distinctive, into your studio, in branding that, set yourself apart, put the extra money. I'm a fan of the slogan, if you build it, they will come. I've done that. I've spent a lot of money on my studio back when I didn't have money. I remember I would spend days and nights tattooing all day, all night, just to give the construction guys more money. Then I had a fire and I had to redo it all over again. But here's the point is don't be afraid to spend a lot of money in your studio to make it distinctive, to make it different. Because we're in a day and age where there's so many studios, there's so many artists, that you don't want to have a high turnover. You would like to have artists come and love being there and just stay there and build a family and build that whole vibe. I would like to say us at Vatican Studios, we have a good vibe here. It's a family vibe. And it's because we haven't gone anywhere. It's the same people we work with because it's distinctive. They're proud to bring their clients here. And I work with a lot of people that charge a lot of money because they are themselves a brand, because they follow these key principles. So be distinctive in everything you do, whether it's your artwork, the way you treat your customer, the way you invest into your studio, and the looks of it. Second key principle, be authentic. We live in a world where there's a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of trickery, a lot of photoshopping, you name it. So be authentic means be who you claim to be, and that's with your art. If you claim to be a black and gray artist and a realist, don't Photoshop your work, because when your customer comes, and we've seen this, James, at tons of conventions, Troshan, we've seen this all around, where we see a piece, in person, and it looks way different than the one that they posted on Instagram. They're not being authentic. And what happens is they start to build a brand on a false foundation, and then they get found out and they get made fun of. And then their clients, actually, this is the worst part of it, their clients stop coming to them because they look at this piece that's faded, and they go elsewhere. So being authentic, being who you claim to be, it's really important, because to me that's an energy. To me that is a foundation, and to me that attracts people to you. A lot of people think they're getting away with being unauthentic, but they don't realize it attracts, the opposite. It'll attract that. So you want to be real. You want to treat your clients authentic. If you want to be kind to them, and if you don't feel like you're authentic for any reason, then search your soul, because there's no shortcuts to success, and success is a long list of ingredients, and you can't duplicate, you can't substitute. They are what they are. If you're making chocolate chip cookies and you don't have chocolate chips, you can't cut up a bunch of pieces of cacao and throw it in there and expect it to taste like a chocolate chip cookie. So there are no shortcuts. These ingredients are tried and true. They're not my own. They're things that I've read in many books and have actually been able to apply here and become successful because of it. So being authentic is important. And again, if it doesn't resonate with you, search your soul. Some of these things we're talking about, you might not feel like you can be that. Search your soul, read more books, meditate, relax, and just kind of become what you know you need to become to be successful, and knowing that you can't pull the wool over anyone's eyes and have shortcuts. Don't Photoshop your tattoos. Don't claim to be able to bite off more than you can chew. If you're not ready for portraits, stop at doing, realistic animals or whatnot before you get into facial features on a brother or a sister. So being authentic will actually spread far into your entire brand, and into your entire relationship, or into your actual. When you're authentic with everything about your company and your business, it actually spreads into your, how people view you, right? So people talk, I want to go to this person, I want to go to that person. It's just the only way to be, really, in this day and age, because there's so much good competition out there. All right, the third one is very important. There's a lot of tidbits of information. It's being memorable, creating an experience. So being memorable. What does it mean to be memorable, as far as a key principle of branding yourself? This one really applies to today, because we all have a reputation. And again, going back to authenticity, it goes into your reputation, and reputation is everything, right? Everybody wants to be a Mr. Cartoon, but nobody wants to apply the principles to gain that type of reputation over 10 or 20 years. So reputation takes years to get. Being authentic is part of that reputation recipe. Being distinctive is part of that reputation recipe. And I say good reputation because there's some bad ones out there too. And it takes just as much effort to get a bad reputation. It takes just as much effort to be not authentic as it does to be authentic. It takes just as much effort to not be distinctive than it does to be distinctive. Remember that. You're going to go one way or another. You're going to invest your energy and your time into going left or going right. It just seems, because of the illusion, the optical illusion that we live in, it seems that if we go to the other direction, we'll get there faster. But that's not really true. So invest that same amount of time being distinctive, being authentic, and being memorable. What does it mean to be memorable? So a long time ago, I used to have a tattoo studio, and it was your run-of-the-mill tattoo studio located in a shopping center. You walked in, there was a bunch of flash on the wall, there was a bunch of people smoking cigarettes, and goofing off, and it was just this party town, right? And of course, I was young back then. I was in my early 20s, and that's what I knew a studio to be. I didn't know any other way. And it wasn't really a memorable place. It was called OC Ink House. It was just another tattoo studio. And then I got this wild hair up my ass. This was probably about 17 years ago. And I said, I'm going to rip off all the flash. I'm going to get, the craziest textured walls, brand new floors, crown molding. I think I put like close to $200,000 into a studio that was already thriving. But I wanted it to look like an art gallery. And so we were actually probably one of the very first studios in the world to have an actual studio that was an art gallery setting. No flash on the wall. Everything's custom. You walk in, you feel like you're at a museum. There's paintings on the wall. It was just a different feeling. And it was becoming a memorable feeling. And people would come in there and they would feel some kind of way. And to be memorable, you have to create a feeling. That's really what it is. It's very simple. When a client comes into your space, he's going to take with him some type of memory, whether it be good or bad. That's going to be planted in his subconscious mind, just like a kid. Like kids always want to go to freaking McDonald's, right? The food tastes like shit, right? But they want to go to McDonald's because they did a good job of making McDonald's a memorable experience. From the little playground that they have, to the colors that they choose, to the Happy Meal and the free toy that comes with it. It costs them probably 5 cents to manufacture, but it equals to them this kid begging his mom to go there 4 or 5 times a week. So they're memorable, right? So we have that same possibilities with us as studio owners, as artists. Being memorable, one of the key fundamentals to being memorable, and I can't say this enough, and this is probably going to be where I park the car for a minute. This is probably where we start to unpack the most profound ingredient in being successful in creating a brand, is your customer service. Now, I've heard the slogan hand-to-hand combat in marketing, and what that means is a lot of times when you're marketing, you want to reach thousands of people and give them a little sprinkle. That's not me. I would rather reach one person and give him my all, and he'll go and tell 10 people. Then the next person that comes in, that one person, I give him my all. So throughout the years, you get hundreds of people that got your all. They got the full experience. They got the full cartoon experience, the full Jose Lopez experience, the full Mr. Troshin experience. And what that does, it goes into your reputation, something we talked about earlier. It goes into this reputation of, oh, you got to go see Troshin. You got to go see so-and-so. Not only are they good, not only will you walk away with a dope tattoo, but the conversation piece. So customer service in key principle 3, being memorable, is everything. That person's your boss. That person's your art director. And look, as a tattoo artist, I've seen this time and time again. There's some cocky dudes out there. There's some cocky tattoo artists out there. Most of the cockiest tattoo artists I know are not successful. They're not. They feel like they're cool. They feel like you're lucky to be sitting in my chair. So as part of principle number 3, being memorable, be humble always. Be humble always. Remove the ego. You're not cool. That customer that's paying your bills is cool. That customer dropping $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 day rate, because I'll tell you what, until you're up in the $2,000 range a day plus, that's when you become really successful. I mean, sure, you might make $300 or $400 a day, but I'm surrounded by people making thousands of dollars. Some of the people I looked up to in the industry still to today, they're making thousands of dollars a day. They're making more than doctors, dentists, lawyers, brain surgeons, right? So how successful do you want to be? I'm always going for the top. If that person can do it, I want to do it too. If that person can make $3,000 a day, I'm not happy with $1,000 a day. I'm striving to do what he's doing because he's a human just like I am. He's just paid the dues. He's just followed some of these principles. And if that's all I got to do and it takes me 10 or 15 years, I'm going to do it too, right? Because it doesn't ever happen overnight. So treating your customer like gold is number 1. Hand-to-hand combat, just giving him that experience. Don't tattoo with headphones on, right? Unless you're at a noisy convention. But take your time to get to know him. Take your time to offer him advice. Take your time to tap into your healer principles. As a tattoo artist, you're a healer. You offer medicine. You've heard every story a million times, so you're tattooing somebody who may be going through a divorce. Give him some comfort. Drop some knowledge into his mind that you may have heard from 100 other customers that went through the same experience that you've now gained knowledge from. Be that friend, right? And what's going to happen is they're going to want to come back to you. Sometimes, this is just a crazy story. I know artists that are not that good at tattoos, really, but they're successful. They charge a lot. They have a great studio. They kind of have somewhat of a name in the industry, and it's because they're just really good people. So being memorable is how you really make that client feel, because at the end of the day, they're investing in you. They're investing in your studio. They're paying your bills. And yeah, hand-to-hand combat is really, really important. How do you want to make your customer feel? Remember, he's a voice. He's going to tell 10 or 20 of his friends. That's going to go into your reputation. So it's and this is a quick little tidbit. I don't want to give too much information to where you can't absorb it all. But in a nutshell, being distinctive, being authentic, being memorable, really putting your all, giving your all into the brand. We live in a day and age where people don't want to work hard. People want to get it right away. People don't realize it takes 20 years to make an overnight success. Look, if you somehow get success fast, you won't value it. In this day and age, it's going to take 10 to 15 years to get your name really, really high up on the totem pole. And that's only if you can be distinctive, be memorable, be authentic. These are just key principles. There's many more, but these are key principles that spread out into every other principle. If you guys have any questions in particular about building your brand, things that you're stuck on, ask us. Go ahead and ask us at some point after we kind of talk about a couple of other things. We'll start to answer some of the questions. But in general, you guys is we're competing with a lot of people. We're competing with a lot of social media. So it's now's the time to really try hard, to work even harder than the guy next to you, and to really be different, be distinctive.
Yeah, I mean, that you said it right there. It's how do you set yourself apart from the competition? And with us at Bishop, customer service has always been number one. Mm-hmm. We take care of our people, and that's why they keep coming back. So, you guys, we're really excited to bring in our friend, Mr. Dmitry Troshin is with us now. Taking a little break before he gets started tattooing for the day.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Dmitry.
Yes, sir. So, Dmitry, this is a lot of times when we're doing different topics such as branding. This is a big topic. Please don't expect me to have covered all of it. Again, just 3 quick principles to chew on. Let me see, how are we in frame? There we go. But there's a lot to know, and if you guys are following us on Instagram and checking into these Facebook Fridays, we're going to keep giving you guys free knowledge, free information, because it ain't free. You guys still have to do all the work. We will give it to you for free, but you guys still have to do all the work. It is our goal at Bishop that we don't just sell products, that we actually give away education, wisdom, and knowledge from us, things that have worked for us. All these principles was a key foundation of Bishop. They played a part in everything. And we still have to maintain and nurture that. So, but again, I don't know it all. So I always love to bring a guest in and pick his brain to see what his thoughts are. You guys have probably seen Mr. Troshin's work. He is notorious for doing 3RL, which is, for most of you guys know what a 3RL is, but for those that don't, it's a 3-round tight. Troshin's doing back pieces, full sleeves, huge pieces with just one needle, and he's pretty much mastered it to where you would think it would take 10 times longer, but I've seen him bust out stuff just as fast as someone using a 5 or a 7 mag, and that's because he's honed in his recipe. But I got a couple of questions to ask Mr. Troshin. The first time I met Mr. Troshin was in Montreal.
Yeah,
it was me and Bobby Tribal. And this young kid, and he's still a young kid, he came up to us and was just sharing with us what he thought of our brands, right? And this is a great segue into me asking him questions. He came up to us and he was like, I love your Bishop brand. I love what you guys stand for. He had a painting for me that was awesome, is awesome. And he loved Bobby from Tribal's brands. And, he hails in from Moscow, but he knew about us across the world, right? So much that he asked us to do a Bishop and a Tribal logo, which he still has to this day because they are permanent. But about that, like, something happened in his mind where something we did with our brands, reached out to him to want to get those tattoos. And so I'm going to parlay that energy in that moment into who he became, because at that time, the only people that knew who Mr. Troshin was were the individual clients he worked with, or the group of friends he had in Moscow. He was just starting to get out there and travel the world. And you fast forward, when was this? When was that?
2015.
2015. So you fast forward to 2021, or about 6 years later, he's established himself as one of the best black and gray tattoo artists in the world. But not just that, he has become distinctive. He's become distinctive with his style, right? He's kind of led the way, in my opinion, and a lot of artists' opinion, as one of the leaders to do 3RL work, right? And that was because he was distinctive. He was authentic. especially with that kind of work, because it's hard to do that kind of work. I mean, I started doing that kind of work with a single needle. It takes a long time, a lot of patience. But he was authentic, and he stayed true to himself. He knew that was going to. Actually, let me ask you that question. When you first started doing 3RL work, obviously it took a long time. Obviously it took a lot of patience. But did you see that it would become something?
I think I started doing it just because I tried to find something comfortable for myself.
Okay.
Something that's a little bit different from what I've learned by then. So everybody was doing like mags and all that stuff,
Yeah.
like all the traditional stuff, and I just needed something for me, something like personal. So I tried to invent something for myself.
That resonated with you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that goes back to being authentic. That authentically resonated with him. He wasn't trying to be a Japanese tattoo artist or a Chicano tattoo artist per se, and that actually worked out well for you.
Yeah.
What do you like most about the 3RL work?
It reminds me of a pencil. So I always did pencil drawings, and this type of tattooing is the most like similar by technique to the pencil drawing.
Yeah.
So it was like comfortable to me, and I was used to it pretty much. Even though it's a different tool from a pencil, it's still very, very similar.
Yeah. So what are the steps to creating a brand around your name? What did you do to create what steps did you take to create a brand around the name Mr. Troshin?
Well, you pretty much said everything I wanted to say already.
Let's hear it from you.
But I would add something. I would start with deciding what exactly you enjoy doing. Because once you get famous enough and people start coming to you to get your work done on them, they're gonna recognize you by your style, and they will want your style from you. So if you start doing realism just because realism is popular and because you can make money on it, but you really enjoy doing like old school or dot work, you'll be stuck with that style you chose just because people know you because of that. And it's going to be extremely hard for you to switch to something else because people don't want this from you. So I think it's very important to decide what you enjoy doing and kind of go that way, because you can always improve your style, you can always improve your technique, but you got to enjoy doing it, or you'll start hating your job or hating people around you or your clients, which is dead end pretty much.
And a lot of people like that I listen to in terms of like mentors is they always say to be successful you have to enjoy what you do. So what he's saying is very important. I'll give you a quick story. When I first started tattooing, I went into doing biomechanical and Japanese traditional and all these things. What I ended up doing was wasting a lot of time with who I wasn't. I've always been a black and gray Chicano style tattoo artist, even in the beginning before I had that name. I always did realism. I went off trying to please everyone, and I wasted a lot of years, to be honest, doing that when I should have just stuck to black and gray. What strategies are important to you in growing your brand even bigger? So right now, what are some strategies?
I would say other than trying to be unique and inventing something new, you can do different things, because there are some artists these days that are famous and popular, not so much but because of their tattoos, but maybe because of their look, because of the way they dress or something unique about them. So if you feel like your portfolio and the style you're doing is not very unique from everything else, create something unique about you, so people recognize you by the way you like look or your hobbies or some other things you do beside of tattooing, maybe
like a character. And and that goes back into like creating a memorable experience. Like if you create this character, and because at the end of the day you're sharing an experience. When you're getting tattooed by somebody for hours and hours, you're getting to know them and their character. And again, probably goes into being authentic on that as well. Let me ask you this: what's the most important thing to you at the end? At the end of it all, what's the most important thing to you?
I think it's important to not forget that your main job is to make people happy about the result of your work. So you can do like a lot of collaborations with other brands. You can make a lot of money and stuff like that. But if you don't continue producing great results in tattooing, your career will end like pretty soon.
And one thing I want to say before I get into this last question, or this last topic with Mr. Troshin, is part of all the things we talked about, there's one key ingredient that needs to be in the highest category, is always do your best work, right? Like Troshin's an example. Like he will not miss a freaking dot. I'm telling you this, right, James?
I've watched it.
Yeah, he won't miss a dot. He won't miss a line. He really does give it 110%. And I know that sounds cliche, but you know what? There are people that go above and beyond. And so he's been able to establish a good brand name in what he does because he's always, and I'm a witness. I'm speaking for him on that. And he's always given his all on a tattoo. Doesn't matter if it's a portrait that little, which he actually pulls off correctly, that will last a lifetime, which is part of a key principle of 3RL work. Each dot gets in there. But he does it. He goes the mile. And so a lot of people, if you're taking shortcuts, look, and if you're getting tattoos finished quicker, you're only jipping yourself off. There's an artist named Stefano Alcantara.
Alcantara, yeah.
Okay. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. But he does great black and gray. But when you look at his subject matter, he's added these textures to it that define him. So if I see a tattoo done by him somewhere, I'll know it's him based upon the amount of extra time that he's put into that face that could have been done at hour 7. He went another hour to put these crazy textures in there, Salvador Dali-esque type of flavor to just give him a unique style. So a lot of times, that's a free tidbit I'll give you guys. If you guys study Stefano's work, it's pretty cool. Don't copy him, but what I'm saying is you can take existing styles and add some kind of weird flair to it and really go down that theme, and that's how you can stand out. So let's talk about, I want to parlay what Troshin is saying into, because I don't think everyone's qualified to teach. So Troshin has been doing some seminars, and I've been a part of them, and they're like gold. If anyone has been to those seminars, we personally follow them afterwards, and their work has always gotten better. They rant and rave about the seminars, and it really does work, because what I've seen him do is have the ability to teach, because just because you're a good artist doesn't mean you know how to teach. He's been excellent at teaching. Let's talk a little bit about your seminar.
Yeah, I'm going to do another one in September here at the Vatican Studios at Bishop headquarters. It's going to be 2 days, a lot of practical learning, up to 10 students, 2 days in a row. They're going to pretty much do everything I do on the silicone skin. Learn a lot of new stuff, ask questions, and what's most important, I would say, I'll be able to see what they're doing and fix some mistakes they do, and trying to improve their technique and maybe talk to them, work on their portfolios, pretty much anything they want me to ask or work on. So it's almost like one-on-one, but in a group.
and you've helped them with their brands too. A lot of times I've seen people come into the seminars and they actually kind of find out what it is they like, even if it's not 3RL work, that just go into the seminar to find out that, hey, this is way too difficult, I'm going to stick to doing color realism. We've seen that too. So it's a great thing to be able to teach. It's a good thing to finally go to a seminar, especially after COVID and all this stuff. But again, I think you've earned it as far as, I've been tattooing for 27 years. Not that I'm anyone to give anyone's blessing to, but as a friend, I definitely would say you've earned the right to teach because of all the dues you've paid ever since I've met you, going above and beyond and just really giving it your all. And that's not a lot of what you're doing is what a lot of artists are not doing. They're not crossing every T and dotting every I in terms of the detail. So check out Mr. Troshin's school. How can they learn more about you?
My Instagram, it's Mr. Troshin or troshin.com. All the information is there.
You're probably already following him, but if you're not, his work is very exciting. Again, when you see his stuff, his portfolio, it's all done with an 803 RL?
803, yeah.
Is it true you use Da Vinci's?
I do, actually.
803 RL. Everything he does is done with that needle.
Hey, Dimitri,
crazy.
now, you had mentioned this about a seminar. Don't you have one coming up here? We're trying to get one going out here in September?
Yeah. That's the one. What was it? Oh, you know what? When are the dates of the seminar?
I think it's September 10, 11.
September 10th or 11th, 2021. That's coming up in a couple of months. There's only 10 slots. They always get full because there's only 10. He wants to deliver all, basically it's a one-on-one experience, really. If you have too many people, it's way too hard.
You're gonna be piggybacking it off of because Golden State is that weekend, right? So anybody
Next
that's
weekend.
gonna be out here for Golden State,
The following weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah.
take a trip out to California. You may have a great time.
And again, you guys, one of the cool things about the seminars is I love to jump in there and meet everyone too. We give a little tour of Bishop and how the machines are made and talk a little bit about the equipment and whatnot. But in terms of branding and whatnot, what's cool about these seminars is we all hang out. James hangs out there, I hang out there. So we're all an open book. We can talk about you're there to learn some tattoo techniques, but if you do have a question about marketing or branding you or your studio, he's an open book for that period of 2 days. You get to ask him any questions, and he will answer them. So, James.
Brother man, thank you, Mr. Dimitri, for joining
you.
us. We know you got to get to work, and we will be showing some of his work from today later on in this
Stay
story.
tuned. Yep. Thank you,
And,
Trojan. Trojan's my neighbor. He tattoos in the next room as me, so we get to mess with each other every now and then.
Okay, well, speaking of branding, and because we know that social media is such an important play in especially in today's realm.
Yeah.
Your photograph, you're only as good as your last tattoo that you present.
Yes, and that's a good topic. So there's a fine line. Trojan, don't go nowhere for a second, too. I want to pick your brain, because I have Trojan take pictures of my tattoos sometimes, because admittedly, I'm not the best when it comes to taking pictures. So anyhow, you got this fine line of photoshopping the hell out of your tattoos, playing with all these contrasts, and even touching them up with white and gray paintbrushes, which is completely wrong, sinful, and illegal. Don't do that. And if you are, repent. Second thing is just taking a damn good picture with a filter. But let's talk about that filter. Not a filter that makes your tattoo look better than it is. A filter that blocks out that glare. So if I'm looking at a tattoo in person, my eyes can see the glare. You looking for the
Right behind you.
Oh, yep. So if you're looking for, to get rid of that glare so that tattoo looks true, that's okay. That type of filter is okay. So going into branding, can you guys see this? This is a fun new product that we're about to drop today. And this is called the Illuminati Lighting Solutions. We played off the word Illuminati. We're not in the Illuminati. We got kicked out actually because we were rebels. That's fine. But anyhow, this is called the Illuminati Lighting Solution. And it was invented by a friend of mine and an artist named London Reese, who we are going to get on the line here soon and talk to. He's at his studio today. But again, going back into marketing and branding, this was branded off of authenticity. It was branded off of being distinctive. It was branded off of, being memorable, because all the principles that go into branding you as an artist can go into the product. First of all, being authentic with this is, we're using the best lights, the best everything, the best aluminum. So there's no cost spared on creating this. Even the packaging, it comes in a nice package. Let's go ahead and call up Mr. London. Let's see.
So we're gonna go to the video real quick.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You know what? Yeah, we're gonna drop a video and explain kind of what this is. Remember, you guys ask all the questions. We're gonna get to them here in a minute. And go to the video, and I'll get London on the line, and let's see what this Illuminati Lighting Solution is all about.
As a tattooer, I've wanted to document my tattoos really well my whole career, and I found that it's always been difficult. Even with good cameras, every time a fresh tattoo is done, it looks great, but when you take a snapshot of it, it doesn't look great. It always looks better in person. And I slowly started to realize that taking good photos of your tattoos relies heavily on the lighting. So the Illuminati Lighting Solutions Kit is really just that. It's a solution to taking good photos really easy and conveniently in a small, compact way. The lighting solutions kit's ready to go out of the box. As soon as you're done with your tattoo, while it's just kind of doing its thing, get your light and your lens set up, takes a minute, and then wipe your tattoo down and it's ready to go. You're gonna get picture perfect tattoos every time.
Everyone, I was able to track down Mr. London Reese, and there we go. There he is. Can you guys see him? Oh yeah, that's perfect.
What's
Bam,
up, dude?
How you been, man?
Chilling, dude. How are you guys?
Chilling, man. How's that car working out for you?
I love it.
That's one of the best places to do calls and stuff. It's just like a cubicle.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so
it's quiet.
it's super quiet. Okay, so we're dropping the long-anticipated Illuminati lighting solutions. Okay, so London is a good friend of ours. He's a brother to the Bishop family and the Vatican family. He worked with us for a while, and he was able to open up his own shop. What's the name of your shop, sir?
The Black Lantern.
And it's dope. And where is it located?
It's in a little beach town called Dana Point, California.
One of the coolest towns ever. So London is not only a tattoo artist, he's an entrepreneur. He definitely understands the importance of branding and marketing, both in his own personal brand name, London Reese, the tattoo artist, Black Lantern, the studio that he owns, and third, and equally as exciting, he invented a lighting kit that we call the Illuminati Lighting Solutions. He came to us about a year and a half ago.
Yeah. I'd say so.
Before COVID, and he had a solution for a problem, and it was interesting because it's a problem that I could relate to dearly, and it's why I have Troshin take pictures of my work. Is I just couldn't figure out the best way to take a picture of my work. And London, I was talking to them earlier about the importance of, on one hand, some people will full on Photoshop their tattoos to look a certain way, and then on the other hand, you got filters, right? And I'm explaining to them that it's okay to use a filter that blocks out the glare because the glare isn't real, right? So if you put a tattoo up on your Instagram and it's got a glare, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're going against branding your name. You're going against showing your best work. I use it all the time. Even when I'm doing like my Instagram stories, I'm like, James, where's the stuff at? It's made a night and day difference. And it's crazy. You know what people are saying, London? This is a true story. People are accusing me of doing better tattoos than ever before. Right? Right, James?
It's A.
And I swear to God. And I'm not offended because I'm thinking, well, how am I going to get better like on my 28th year? Like, this is not going to happen. It's because I'm finally taking out the glare. So when I'm showing off the work that I'm doing that day, it's just authentic.
Well, I think you nailed it. Just getting rid of the glare has always been like the hardest part for us tattooers. And I think there have been movements in tattoo photos for years, trying to spend the money and get a good camera or a good light or whatever. Yeah, that's all important to get good photos, but that glare was always there. And so, it circulated for a little while with just a select few of dudes who are out there figuring out like how to cross polarize, the light so you can get rid of that glare. Well, it never got perfected and it never got put into like a compartmentalized little solution, and that's where the term solution comes from. It's like we just solved a problem.
Yeah.
We found out how to get rid of the glare so we can actually take good, honest photos of our tattoos finally and not have that ugly like sheen on the skin.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. And you got a lot of followers because not only are you a dope person, but your work is phenomenal. I mean, not only do you do sick black and gray, you do color as well. I'm always a fan of black and gray, so I'm always commenting like, hell yeah, black and gray, baby. But why is it so important for your personal brand to have good photos represented on Instagram?
Well, I think presentation is everything, and anybody in any business would agree with that pretty much. I always kind of look at like tattoos and presenting our tattoo portfolio to the world and, potential clients as like any company, like say a car company.
Yeah.
They're putting in a magazine. They're not going to take a picture of a dirty old car that's been in the warehouse for 6 months being built. No, they're going to wash that sucker up. They're going to professionally light it and have a good photographer go take a nice shot. And that's going to be their advertisement. Your portfolio is literally an advertisement for future business. So if a company wants to sell the car, they're going to make that car look perfect. And if you want to sell good tattoos, make your tattoos look perfect. Do good tattoos and then document them properly.
Yeah, and that's really important. It does go into branding. So I like what you said. It's a solution because, and to me, it was a huge solution to me. Like here I am, 27 years later, going, what the freaking heck, man? Like, why haven't I got on the bandwagon earlier? Like, this is perfect. And I like how it's like, I don't know if you guys can see the camera here, but it's a simple package. You know, the way you were able to design, you know, it being in a very small compartment that you can take to conventions. I mean, I'm not going to drop this, but it seems like if I dropped it from probably 10 feet, nothing would happen, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, London, how you doing? It's James checking in. How you doing, brother?
Chilling.
Good, man. Hey, actually, I got a great question from a gentleman, Christopher James Cantu, and maybe you can help out with this.
Yeah.
Do you need to have the lighting in a dark room for the best photo, or will it work in well-lit areas?
Your best bet is absolutely dimmer ambient light. You definitely want to make the light that comes with the Lighting Solutions kit the brightest light source in the area. So if you're well lit in the room you're in, maybe dim the lights or go to the darker corner of the shop and just make sure that the light is the brightest little light source.
Yeah, that's definitely I've been toying with that too. I personally like it when it's just like a completely dark room, and then I have, you know, the two lights to kind of control. And I'll kind of really quick. Should I? Is the camera on here?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna glance at it. So you got some directional lighting. I usually have like an assistant hold it, or my left-hand man James. They'll kind of put the lighting on the tattoo. Then of course we got the little clip, which this is, I don't know, it's the activator really, but you just pop that simple over your phone. You adjust the lens until you get the perfect sheen that's not there. That sheen just disappears at this particular dial setting. And of course you pop the light on, you know, over here. And it's pretty much, you know, it's real simple. Sometimes I only need one lighting, but if it's kind of like a piece that rounds out, like an arm piece where you need like two parts, I'll get two lights, and you know, I'll kind of have some people hold it. But it's real easy. I'm not really a tech savvy guy, but even for me, this is super simple. Again, I can't say enough how it is a solution. And yeah, anything else about this kit you want to talk about, London?
Well, yeah, the cool thing is it is small, so it's easy to put in a backpack and take with you to work, or take with you to any kind of convention you do, or a guest spot. You know, you don't have to bring a big old camera. You can just pop it on your phone. You can either rotate the little lens that goes on your phone, or if you're just manually doing it with the cube, you can just turn that too.
Yeah.
You need both though. The lens and this light, we made this light so it's really, really effective with the lens that you put on your phone camera.
Yeah, that's a very important to notate. So the light itself has a lens built into it that removes the glare, and the little clip you put on your iPhone also works in conjunction with it. It's pretty simple. I mean, at first glance, when you open it up, it's like there's a lot of parts, right? But you know, again, guys, we got some videos coming in some how-tos and whatnot, and London kind of breaks that down a little bit easier. There's a cool pamphlet in here that kind of explains, you know, each part and what they do. But a lot of you guys kind of use something similar, maybe a part here or a part there. But what makes this unique is it's all, like London said, it's all compartmentalized. It's all simple. Again, it comes in a you know, in a compartment you can take with you. You could probably, you know, it's real simple. Just you know, if you want further if you have further questions on this product, that's when you want to watch the videos and really dial it in. But for the most part, from the people that have came by and looked at this, they're like, oh, I get it. You know, I get it. No need to explain. I get it. The two lights, this. At that point, it's kind of like how it looks in your camera. So what's cool about this type of product is you just fidget with the lighting until it looks good in the camera, and then you take a picture. So yeah, I'm excited about this project. We've been working on it for a year and a half now.
Yeah,
we finally get to release it today. Are you excited, man?
I'm so pumped, man. It's been a whirlwind developing it and getting it going during COVID, but we're finally here. I'm stoked, man.
Heck yeah. And it's really cool to work with not only just you, but a fellow tattoo artist, you know, creating, you know, something that was invented by someone like you that tattoos every day for real, and needed this solution for yourself.
Oh, man, it's awesome.
Well, thank you, my brother.
Good.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to release this product. It'll be available today. Thank you again, brother, for everything. It was fun working with you. I'm sure we're going to work on more products we've been talking about. And you're a busy man, so I'm sure you got to get back to a tattoo appointment.
Good to hear from you, brother.
Thank you, guys. Good to talk to you.
I'll see you in London. We'll talk soon.
Send love to
Cheers.
the family, my man.
I will. Peace.
Later, brother.
All right. Well, that was awesome. Good to check in with our brother London. Franco, we are getting close on time. We have a couple questions here that
Let's get some questions for sure. We got 10 minutes.
We actually got a really good one from our friend Miss Sana Sakura, who
Sana.
had asked a little bit earlier. In today's environment, it seems like artists are more focusing on themselves as a brand as opposed to promoting the studio.
I love talking about that topic. Okay, so there was a day and age where you would put more of what we talked about, more of that would go into branding your studio, because the studio acted as an Instagram account. There was no social media. So if you branded your studio like Ink Slingers did 20 years ago, I believe they had their 20-year anniversary, you brand the studio and then people come in to get a tattoo from any one of the artists in there because they know it's going to be good. But nowadays, it works a little different. We have social media, which is the new Yellow Pages. And quite frankly, clients don't give a damn where you're tattooing. They don't care if you're tattooing in a basement in your mom's house or a studio on the 14th floor of a fancy hotel. They go to your page, they see your work, they look at who else you've tattooed, and they're sold, right? Or they might have you come to their house. So the importance is really now shifted to branding yourself, your own name, because that's really where it matters. If you do have an existing studio, that doesn't mean don't brand the studio. I mean, you want to do that as well. That gets hometown customers. But if you want customers to fly in from all around the world and from the next city over that could have went to another shop down the street from their house, no, you brand your own personal name and they will come. Let's get into some more questions.
As far as the importance, you guys were talking about branding yourselves, and so many people, you're doing so many different tattoos, and some people feel the need to post them all up. I mean, from what I've seen with you, and I know with Troshin and all of our friends, is you post what you want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel about that? Because some people, it's talking, you want to do everything that you can, you want to get work, but
so there's a lot of styles of tattooing out there, right? I don't need to name them all, but there's a lot of styles of tattooing out there. Meditate on what feels right for you. Meditate on what it is you feel comfortable doing, what you enjoy doing. It could be script, it could be just words, it could be lettering, it could be realism, it could be Chicano style, it could be Japanese color work, it could be... Find out what resonates with you that you truly enjoy. Like if you could only pick one style to tattoo for the rest of your life for free, not for money, for free, what would that style be, right? And then when you come up with that answer, don't even consider the rest of the styles that are out there. Hone in that for you, because the fact that you love it, the fact that it's authentic, means that the chances of you becoming great at it and becoming more well-known and be able to charge more money are 1,000 times greater. Yeah.
okay. Well, Franco, I think we're running out for today's time.
Oh, okay. I love questions, though.
That was
okay.
a fast
That
hour.
went by fast. Again, there's a lot to know about branding and marketing. Rewind this, watch it a couple times. Pay attention to the 3 key principles. But we're just touching on so many other things that it takes to be successful in creating your own brand as a tattoo artist.
This is definitely a subject that we will expand on more. And if you guys do have any questions, please send us a DM. Gabe, myself, Franco, we can do what we can, and we will get you the answers. And we'll be dropping some more information coming here in the future as well.
Yeah, we love it. We got 2 more minutes. Thank you guys for being our customers. We appreciate each and every one of you. Everything we do is for you guys. Of course, you can send us DMs. You can send me a personal DM. I answer as many as I can. We're here for you guys. We want to educate. We want everybody to be successful. We're going to utilize all the things we've learned along the way to give to you guys for free. But remember, you guys still got to do all the work. But that's what Bishop's about. So we thank you very much for your patronage, and we're going to continue to make good products for you guys.
All right, you guys. Well, we definitely have a lot of fun things coming up here. So just make sure you sign up for our SMS list for first access. We didn't do that this time because we wanted to make sure everybody got a chance on this round of the batteries. But moving forward, we will definitely have our SMS list up and active again. Make sure to text Bishop VIP to 29071, and international, we're going to do 1-973-547-1071. I think that's it for today.
Perfect.
What do you think, Chief?
Hey, that was a good one. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And again, send us any questions you have. We would love to answer them in more detail. I know an hour is never enough time to go over this type of stuff, but thank you again for tuning in.
Hey, Franco, thank you again for your time, and we want to thank you guys all at home for tuning in. We always appreciate your guys' attention. We appreciate your feedback, and we want to know how we can get better. So make sure you let us know, and you guys have a beautiful rest of your week out there. Enjoy your time with your family, and remember, if nobody loves you, Bishop's got you.
True story.
And Chuco, we out.